You know, I see dead people wherever I go. I see zombies. I see people with no spark in their eyes. People who are just going about living their lives like they are on a hamster wheel or on a treadmill. Every day they set out, they go to work, they do what they need to do, then they return home and flop in front of the television or in front of social media only to repeat the cycle again. They wait for weekends. When weekends come, they are happy. Come Monday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, they start dreading that tomorrow is going to be Monday. They're dreading Monday morning. So they just wait for weekends, they wait for holidays, they wait for retirement, and then they physically die. But prior to that, years and years, decades before, I believe they had already died spiritually, they had already died emotionally, simply because they're living lives without any passion. They're living a life that they almost defaulted into, something that was chosen for them by someone else. Many of them think about a different life. Many of them imagine a different life. Imagine if I didn't have to do this. Imagine if I had a better job. Imagine if I had a better boss. Imagine if I could start my own business. Imagine if I could do something that really meant something to me. Unfortunately, these people are too scared to make a move. And even those who are not so scared, they don't have the ability, they don't know how, they don't know what is the first step towards taking the right decision and making a move to the life that they would love. And that is a true tragedy of our times. Now, how did it come to this? How did people get to this point where they are in lives that where they are unfulfilled, where they are just living and they're just existing rather than living it up? I think it starts at school, because in school, and the one thing that is pervasive throughout the schooling career is that you are taught that there is a certain um, linear progression that every single human being has to go through in order to succeed in life. You are taught that you need to go to school from preschool all the way to grade 12, and then you need to go to university, and then you need to go and work. And that linear progression is something that's been drummed into us for decades. It's been drummed into us, our parents, our grandparents, and we are terrified of going beyond that. We are terrified of breaking that golden rule, of going against that. But yet, when we think about it, it's a relatively new construct, this whole linear progression of life: school, university, get a job, retire. Never works out like that. In reality, it's something completely different to that. But it starts out at school. Then I'll give you an example. I was at a school in Gauteng, and I was speaking to a group of brilliant learners. And I asked the one young lady, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? You're in grade 12 now. What is your career choice? She said, I don't know yet, but I'm waiting for the university to respond to me to see what I've been accepted for. I was shocked. I was shocked. She was waiting for the university, some clown at the university entrance department, to tell her what she's going to do for the rest of her life. Really? So I asked her, are you prepared to outsource the most important decision of your life to someone else? That's strange. And that is a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for becoming one of those zombies with no spark in their eyes. Then I met another young lady, and I love conversing with these young people when I go to the schools. Actually, this one wasn't at a school. Her father had introduced me to her, and he said to me something strange. He said, my daughter wants to study dentistry, and I find that a problem. So I asked him why. He said it's because she's a clean freak, and we are not even allowed to pick our teeth in front of her. That's how meticulous she is about cleanliness. She gets grossed out just by people picking teeth. So how is this child going to be a dentist and look down people's mouths the whole day? He found that strange, and I also found it strange. So I asked her what was the reason for that choice. She said that her uncle is a dentist, and he told her there's good money in it, and there's a guaranteed job for her in his practice when she qualifies. I said, child, that's no reason to go and study something that you probably will hate for the rest of your life. Not just because there's good money or because there's a guaranteed job for you. That's not a reason. That's not a reason to go into something. There's completely different reasons. Now, these kinds of stories go on and on. I encountered this all the time. 2 weeks ago, a young man came and enrolled at IT Varsity. But he told me his mom wasn't happy with his choice to study IT to become a software developer because she wants him to become a doctor. So I asked him, why does your mom want you to become a doctor? He said simply, my dad is a doctor. So my mom feels that I should follow in his footsteps and I should also become a doctor. Now, I find that very, very disturbing that sometimes it's the schools that force these kids into these boxes, and sometimes it's their own parents that do it to them. You know, we as parents, and I'm a parent, I have 3 sons, as you probably already know. We as parents want the best for our children, no doubt. But rather than what's best for them, we want to give them what we think is best for them, or maybe what we think would have been best for us when we were that age. That's a mistake we make. You know, it's like the one young uh, kid came up to me at a school talk, and he said, you know, you spoke about careers, but my parents hate my career choice. I asked him, what is your career choice? He said, I want to be a YouTuber. I said, that's a fantastic career option. Why do your parents hate it? He said, because they don't understand it. They want me to be an accountant. They don't understand the, the potential of being a YouTuber. Now, I didn't take that conversation further with that young man, but I hope that he had the courage to follow his own passion and become a YouTuber and not follow the life that his parents decided for him. Look, our parents don't decide or are not supposed to decide the kind of person we're going to marry or the kind of job that we're going to do and the kind of life we're going to live. It's our life. It should never be like that. And parents, remember, you are not reliving your life through your children. Don't make that mistake. Let them live their own lives. They are separate individuals to you. Just as you made your own choices, just as you made your own mistakes, you chose the life that you are in right now. Let them choose. And don't try to make them correct the mistakes that you made. That's the biggest mistake we can make as parents. And I think that's a good way to destroy our children. Now, let's go back to the schooling system, the system that I hate. First and foremost, I want to make something very clear. I don't hate schools and I don't hate universities. I respect them as places of learning. As a person who loves knowledge, as a person who loves learning, I respect these institutions. What I hate is that system, that fear-driven system. Go to school, go to university, go and get a job. Otherwise, you're nothing. I hate that system. And if I can pull down that system and get people to realize that that linear progression, that system that was designed by God knows who, if you don't follow that system, you'll still be fine. If I can convince people that, then that's the greatest thing that I can do. That is my mission in life. So the schooling system, 12 years of school, what do we learn? You know what we learn? We learn perishable knowledge. Knowledge that is only useful for the exams, and the moment the exam is over, the moment you put your last dot on that paper, you can delete that knowledge and it will make no difference in your life. For the rest of your life, it will make no difference. So then the question I ask you is, why do we spend 12 years at school? What do we do for 12 years, sometimes even longer, because nowadays it's grade R and it's grade double R and then it's play school before that. So 3 years prior to grade 1, you are already in school. So count that, 12 plus 3, 15 years in school. Now Ken Robinson, the famous author, put it nicely. He said that the modern schooling curriculum or the modern schooling system is nothing more than a protracted university entry procedure. The modern schooling system is nothing more than a protracted university entry procedure. Think about what he said. What he's saying is the only reason we go from grade 1 to 12 is so that we can go to university. Because if you don't have the grade 12, the university won't accept you. And if you don't have grade 11, you can't go to grade 12. And it goes all the way back to grade 1, maybe even grade R. And that's unfortunate that a place that is supposed to be for learning, a place where they are supposed to teach you the joy of knowledge, where they are supposed to teach you how to learn, teach you how to cope with life, how to be yourself, how to love yourself. Instead, the only reason people go through it is so that they can go to university. And why do they go to university? Only so that they can get that piece of paper to say, I am validated now. I've got a degree. I'm someone. Without this degree, I was no one. Now I've got a degree. I'm someone. Now, how many times did you hear that statement? You know, people make a statement like this. They say, this guy has got a degree in so and so, studied at a university, such an intelligent person. Or this guy got a doctorate in something, such an intelligent person. Really? Does intelligence have to do with that piece of paper? Does it have to do with the fact that you read some books, memorized some knowledge, passed some exams? Is that intelligence for you? Is that what it's narrowed down to? Is that the sum total of thousands of years of human progress, that intelligence now is only a piece of paper? That's sad. That's really such a sad state for us as human beings, that we gauge a person's abilities by that one piece of paper. I mean, consider a person like Madiba, like Nelson Mandela, with or without a degree. Yes, he had a law degree, but he was a person that changed the world in many ways. Had he not had that degree, would he still be able to do it? Yes. So did the degree make a difference in his life? No. Did the degree make a difference in Steve Jobs' life? No, he didn't even have a degree. So think about things like that. There are people who changed the world who either didn't have degrees or had degrees that never made them the people they were. And that's not a way that we should gauge people. You know, that this person is something because she has a degree, or this person is nothing because she doesn't have a degree. Now, instead of degrees, we should get our kids to focus on something else. You know, I find it odd, maybe my thinking is all wrong, but I find it odd when schools tell their learners when they come to grade 11 that start doing your university applications from now, as if to say that the only path to a successful career is through university. And those kids who are not performing academically, who are not able to make that decision, or maybe who don't have that inclination to study at university, they become problem children at school. They become absolute problem children. Parents are called in. They are sent to the guidance counselor. They are sent to the psychologist. People say to them, you are lazy, you are not performing, you are not doing well, you're going to get nowhere in life, you're going to be nothing in life. How many of us, let's be honest here, how many of us heard that sort of thing said to us directly? And how many successful people were told that you're going to amount to nothing because you didn't do well in maths? You couldn't do some dumb equations. Now, I'm a maths teacher. I used to be a maths teacher. Oh, you couldn't memorize some biology, or you couldn't do your accounting homework. You were told that you would amount to nothing. Today, children are being told directly and indirectly, if you are not academically inclined, you are nothing. Never mind you're a creative. Never mind in your heart you got a love for humanity. Never mind in your heart, you want nothing more than to cure people, to care for the sick, to cure them. But the fact that you can't get 7 or 8 A's in matric means that you will never be accepted at medical university. But that person who's only doing this for money, who has absolutely no love for humanity, no love to really take care of the sick and cure the sick, but who can somehow pull 8 A's, is going to get to medical university. Sorry, child, if you can't get your 8 A's, forget about caring for humanity. And that's the problem. You see, those are the problems. And we sort of put kids into these boxes. We put kids into these boxes. I mean, which school ever says to the kids when they come to grade 11, make your applications either to a university or to a business incubator or to a creative center, depending on your personality type and what you are passionate about. You ever heard that? You'll never hear that. What they'll say is, make your applications to universities. And what are you supposed to do at university? They put you into boxes. Faculty of Commerce, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Humanities. What if you just don't fit into any one of those? What if your passion is somewhere else? I'll tell you what they expect you to do, to put yourself into that box. And this is why I hate the system, because it destroys people. It demolishes their self-esteem, and it forces them into boxes for the rest of their lives. And all this is done through fear. Fear of poverty, fear that you're not going to be worth anything, fear that you're not going to earn a living. Now, those of you who are in a life that you're not happy with, those of you who are in a job you're not happy with, in a career, profession you are not happy with, let me tell you this. Life is too short. Life is too short to just exist, to just carry on day by day. Come on, find that spark. Find that thing that makes your heart sing. Find the thing that ignites your passion, that lights a fire in your belly. Find that thing and do it. You are wasting the most valuable, precious thing you have, which is your life, the time in your life, the precious hours and days and weeks and months and years. You're going to turn around one day and look back at a life so unfulfilled. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to be lying on your deathbed and thinking, I wish I had done this or that. I wish I had the courage to make that decision, to take a dive and do something. Don't regret. Don't live a life of regret. Live a life of passion. Now, what do? You need to make a career move. For those of you who haven't got a career yet, you're in a best position. Are those who need to make a career move, let me give you some advice here. Number one, find what you are passionate about. Get to know the most important person in the world, yourself. Take some time off, meditate on it. Take a pencil and paper and get to know that human being. Introduce yourself to that person, yourself. You'll be shocked how little you know about yourself, how much you know about others, but how little you know about yourself. Because all our lives, we are focusing on other people, our spouses, our children, our parents, our co-workers, our boss. But it's now time to turn the focus to yourself and say, hello, who are you? And find your passion, number one. Number two, use technology to identify what you can do with that passion. For example, go on to ChatGPT and say, I have this passion, what can I do? What career options are there for me? And then finally, we have the biggest library known to mankind right there in our pockets. Use it to learn, to map a pathway for yourself, to go towards that passion. Start a side gig that you are passionate about, but take your time. Your career move will take time. Don't expect it to happen overnight. Don't expect it to happen in 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. Stick with it. It took me 4 years to make that career move. 4 years of working for someone else, 4 years for working in another company before my side gig, my passion, my business was strong enough that I could make a living of it. A modest living, but a living of it. So make that career move, but make it when the time is right. And the time, you'll know when the time is right, when that side gig of yours, that passion project of yours is strong enough to carry you, to carry your expenses, and to enable you to live a life of passion, a life where come weekend, you can't wait for Monday. Come evening, you can't wait for morning. If you want to live that life, you got to start now. So what do? Let the life of adventure begin. Start now. Start this very moment. Start this very instant. Get to know yourself and take that first step. Live a life of adventure. Don't live a life of regret.